Hundreds of banking and finance professionals and top corporate officials today concluded their two-day conference focused on the Nigerian financial system, the markets, and the economy. The summit was held under the umbrella of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. Dr. Bunmi Bajomo is a professional banker, the head group corporate bank and chief operating officer at Ecobank Transnational Incorporated in Lome, Togo. Dr. Bajomo was a speaker at the CIBN conference in Abuja, and she joins me now from our studios in the capital city. Many thanks for coming through on the show this evening, madam. It's great to have you.
Thank you, Bosin.
Great to have you. Thank you so much for joining us today from our Abuja studios. It's been a 2 day of you banking professionals coming together. What was the overarching theme, the focus of this banking and finance conference between you market professionals, banking professionals, as well as government officials, including the Minister of Finance? Why is this important at this time?
Thank you very much. Actually, this is an initiative of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. The theme of the conference is repositioning the financial service sector for an evolving global context. And this is important at this time and quite crucial given where we are as a nation, where the continent of Africa is, and the state of the general global economy, actually. So the session it was a mix of online participation and physical attendance with over 2,068 participants. The session focused on key things that are prevailing right now. And to the credit of Arise and the media team, the session actually utilized a number of professionals that are currently dominating the financial landscape. In terms of what was covered, it comprises of about 5 business sessions as well as 4 preliminary sections. The key themes that were covered at that event, which are quite relevant for what is happening right now, my session was on the relationship between the payment architecture in Africa, the PAP system, and how it facilitates the AFTA initiative across the continent and within the context of Nigerian financial service industry. Next to that, we also had topical issues covering globalization and how it affects the Nigerian labor market. We've all heard of the Japa syndrome. A lot of our youth population and even professionals leaving the shores of the nation to go seek greener pasture abroad. So this was dimension. And what came out of that is that why that constitute brain drain for Nigeria, it could actually connote some positive, because what we're seeing is that, you know, this Japa syndrome is actually not cheap. It's quite costly. We had a representative of International Labour Organization saying that it is not. This would affect about 1 million skilled people or people who are able to pay for that. But the nation is actually forgetting about 10 million others who have the requisite qualification but are not able to japa, if I must use that word, because they cannot afford it. And for financial service industry as well as telecoms and all the other sectors that are affected, what are we really doing? How are we building this 10 million pipeline in order for them to immediately fill the space that is being left behind? And then we also focus on what can nations do in order to stem what is happening and to actually engage the youthful population that we have, which are supposed to be the asset as far as this nation is concerned. And then in today's session also, we dealt with macroeconomic issues. We are at the throes of another leadership change. What would the financial industry be advising government to do? What are the things we must do? This centered around the role of citizen, the role of the corporate, and what the government should be doing. So while we as citizens can lay everything at the doorstep of government or people in authority, as individuals, how are we helping the government in our own little space, in our own little span of influence? What are we doing in order to shape what is happening?
So Dr.
Thank you.
Bajomo, thanks for giving us a summary of what was discussed yesterday until today. Thank you so much. But again, if you look at the banking system and the financial system stability, which the Minister of Finance yesterday is very, very important to ensure that we can deal with the current problems. You are in the banking space. You spent many years in the banking industry. Currently, you are at the headquarters of EcoBank Transnational in Lumetogo, from where you came for this particular conference. So the role of banking, the role of financial system in ensuring that we can mitigate the emerging risks and trend in the global space. Inflation is rising across the world, the implications and the consequences for the Nigerian banking and the financial system. Talk to me.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, the financial service industry has a big role to play in shaping discourse in terms of what is happening in our economy and on the global landscape. But what the financial industry have done, I will tell you one key thing that happened at this conference, is that the financial industry actually took a bold step and brought all the players together. Number one, we're trying to ensure that outside of the current movers and shakers of the financial service industry, what is the generation coming next? Who are those people? And that's why this conference actually showcased a number of emerging stars, emerging individuals who can actually take the reins of leadership. And what this Nigerian financial industry is bringing about through the CIBN is that, you know what, we're telling the government, look at it. Don't worry about, there's nobody to take over. We have a pipeline of talent. We have a pipeline of individual who, if given the opportunity, can take their rightful place of, can make a formidable impact and take a formidable space in shaping the Nigerian economy. And what the financial industry is saying is that, you know, the current trend is that we see the influx of tech disrupting, and everybody sort of feels, oh, with tech, everything goes haywire. No, we're saying no. What is fintech? Fintech is just application of technology to better deploy financial services. So they don't have to conflict all the time. So we brought even the technical players together, and we're saying there's a room for collaboration. Number one, the banking architecture already have the network, which fintech can leverage in order to deliver their service. They can share API. We've seen collaboration between fintech and financial industries. In some respect, we had a Deutsche Bank collaboration with fintech in order to deepen value chain. What we're saying is that why Africa is not pulling its weight, why Africa remains a primary supplier of commodity, is because we're not deepening the value chain network across Nigeria, in agric, in manufacturing. Why are we so fixated with importing everything? Why are we not developing the value chain so that as is happening in breweries and so where people can source their maize, millet, sorghum, then even in financial space, in terms of value chain, we can plug into this emerging technological market movers in order to deploy some services which will have gone to Israel or all of these emerging technology companies for. We're saying no, some of those talents resides in Nigeria. We don't have to celebrate Flutterwave because Flutterwave have now found a partner who have invested with them. We don't have to celebrate the myriads of emerging telecoms who might become unicorns tomorrow only after they've been discovered. Why are we not collaborating as financial service industry? What we've talked about is also whether it's in fintech or financial industry, there is significant staff attrition across all of this spectrum. What we're saying is that as financial industry, as fintech, we can collaborate, build a pipeline. I'm happy to report that today, the CIBN actually took a bold initiative as announced by the MD of Sterling Bank, who is the chair of the conference, by instituting a $20 million facility. What is the purpose of that facility? To actually reskill, upskill, and retrain students, financial services operator, such that where there is manpower shortage, we can immediately build on that pipeline, and with all of these current skills gap shortages that are being seen would not be there. And then we have the people who actually look at globalization and emerging trend in terms of employee relations, looking at it and saying, you know what, you can build talent, you can build your network. If you don't have the right culture or the right environment, they will not stay. So you need to have the harmonization of all of this.
Yes, you know, for 2 days, and I'm looking at the images from that conference, former presidents of the CIB and Minister of Finance, other top government officials. I'm sure it was a very tough 2 days of big names in Nigeria banking and financial services. All of you coming together for this particular conference, and I'm sure must have been very rewarding for you. Thank you so much for briefing us on this particular 2-day important conference under the CIB. And thank you so much, Dr. Bunmi Bajomo, Head Group Corporate Banking and Chief Operating Officer at EcoBank Transnational Headquarters in Lome, Togo, from our Abuja studios. Thank you so much. See you next time.